Alright, it's time for another MOA adventure. We're still in the Cohutta wilderness, and this time we're headed down the Conasauga River Trail. 13.1 mile trek. We're going from top to bottom. We're on the top of grassy. And we're headed down to Murray's Lake. 13 miles worth. So let's get stretched and get ready. Here's the plan. We're starting right here. I'm gonna walk about a mile to where the headwaters of the Conasauga comes together, starting at Birch Creek. And it gathers momentum, and we're gonna walk down past Chestnut Lead, on down past Tara Britches Trail, and down to Hickory Creek Trail and camp tonight. Maybe meet a couple more folks, work our way the next day, find a place to camp along the way, and then head out the next morning to Murray's Lake. So we're gonna camp 2 nights. We don't have to, it's 13 miles, but why not? Off we go. All right, away we go. Down the windy path, headed to the headwaters of the Conasauga River. I may say Conasauga River 10,000 times on this trip. That's where we're headed. Conasauga River is 93 miles, and we're at the very first inch of it. We've been cruising along the trail pretty easily. One little sharp downhill. And we've reached Birch Creek. We've crossed it a time or two. And it's just gradually getting bigger. It's not officially the river yet, but it's not much further. The only real question is, how long do you fight it? How long do you attempt to keep your shoes wet or dry? As you can see, no elbows today. So it's eventually gonna happen, but not yet. Don't kid yourself. Walking down slick rocks, long creeks for 13 miles. Not gonna be the easiest thing. It may be a pretty adventurous thing. Be careful, go slow. Watch where you're putting your feet. Well, we've made it. There's the blue 2. This is officially the beginning of the Conasauga River. One of the most diverse river systems. One of the most diverse rivers in the whole world. 90 species of fish, 25 species of mussels, several of which are on the endangered and federally protected list. And it all starts right here. We're going to make our first official crossing right here. 28 more to go, and I'm not going to keep up with them all, but this is it. The beginning of the Conasauga River. All right, we've only been 1.7 miles, and the little trickle of the Conasauga Creek has turned into already a much bigger flow, and we still got a lot of crossing to do. So anyway, It's definitely turning into a river rapidly. All right, we are approaching Chestnut Lead Trailhead, I think is what this is. That is it. Chestnut Lead comes off the top up there. You got to cross the river right here. We could go out and head back up 2 miles, back up to where we just came from, basically. We're not going to. Big, wide, pretty area right here to camp in. But this is not our destination. We still got 4.5 miles to go. And many more river crossings. All right, from here, we have got 16 crossings to make in the next 3 miles. So, might as well get started. Let's do some fancy stuff right here to get through. Real fancy. We'll try a different approach. Cool little run there is going right down through here. Let's see, he's fishing and very few people have fished besides the Indians. He did it, he caught one. A red eye. He's caught a red eye and he's caught a trout. We may not hike 200 more yards for the next 5 hours now. But he's a fishing machine. He's good at it. Here you go, a native rainbow.
There's colors on that one.
What a beauty. There he went. You're surely gonna let me catch one in a minute, ain't you? Look at that. What a beauty. That's 3. He's a heck of a fisherman, done caught 3 native rainbows right here in this little stretch. Well, as you can imagine, with all these river crossings, I'm obviously not wearing my oboes today. I went from the most expensive pair of shoes I own, and those, to the cheapest pair I own, a Walmart pair for, I don't remember, 12 bucks. And I'm trying out these new gaiters to keep the gravel and the rocks and the sand out of my shoes doing all these crossings, and so far they're working pretty good. So Anyway, the longest trail I've hiked, I'm wearing the cheapest shoes I got. But so far, so good. This is why they shouldn't let me fish. Look, one cast hung in the tree. He's got to go over there and get it. That's why he should do the fishing. Well, we're forging ahead. The trail has been forest road some, and little windy pig trails through the briars and the bushes some. And it's just been a wide trail some. But there's not been some of this. There's been a lot of this. Crossing the creeks. To find it where it comes out on the other side has been tricky sometimes, but it wouldn't be an adventure if it wasn't. Maybe what do they say? If it's easy,
everybody would do it.
That's right.
In the right place, it puts you okay.
Well, we've reached a place that we know. It's the Panther Creek Trails. Panther Creek Falls Trail. Right there. We have crossed many times. We have used this campsite before. And it's a grand place to stay. So, we're not far from our first camping site for the night. We're not sure where it's going to be, but it's going to be down that trail a little piece. I don't know if you're a believer in deja vu. I have never really been. I'm getting this funny feeling. Been here before. Well, we came to our resting place. That's where Hickory Ridge Trail comes down and hits the Conasauga River Trail. And we just skedaddled right across Little Rough Creek. That's where it runs into the Conasauga. And we're going to pitch a little hideaway camp over here, away from everybody. So, the process begins. All right, it's time to hang the bear bag. He used to pitch in high school. I remember that part about him. He's a pretty deadly basketball player. And he can cast with the dang best of them. And he's caught trout everywhere we go. But he can't seem to get that little carabiner over that limb. Right there. You know, in his defense,
I couldn't even get over there to throw the carabiner. I'm sure it will all come together. Process of breaking down camp. Having a little breakfast. I've already had some hot chocolate and some grits. Bob's down there having some oatmeal by the edge of the river. We're just waiting on a couple other adventurers to meet us here to carry on day 2. Our little campsite here is all packed up and ready to go. And right there's where our hammock's hung. And right here's where our fire was. And right here's where we cooked our supper. And that is right where this Little Rough Creek. Coming up on the other side of that rock is the Conasauga River. So where Little Rough Creek and the Conasauga waters meet, is right where we're sitting. All right, we're waiting on a couple of guys to show up. We're gonna give them a little while, or they can just catch up. But beautiful morning. We're about to make our way across the river. We're only gonna go about 4 miles today. Find another place to camp, relax, have another peaceful day. Well, we've waited long as we can wait. We're gonna
Time to get to it.
We left him a coded message up there in the sand. And now we're fixing to head that direction. We're here at the trailhead for Hickory Creek Trail, running late.
Yeah,
Heading down to meet the other adventurers. We'll be at Little Rough Creek soon. Well, we've come to the point of trepidation that we can't find the trail where it goes into the river, and maybe can't find it coming out. So we're going to make an effort to cross right here and see if we can pick it up over there. So this is the tricky one, it said, so we'll see. Well, we're wandering around lost at the moment and trailblazing. It so happened, old Mr. Copperhead standing there. Keep an eye on me. I believe I'll go a different direction. Lost in the Cohutta wilderness. Temporarily. We're on the hunt for some MOA adventurers. We got 2 here. Just crossed the first crossing of the Conasauga River, coming out of Little Rough Creek. And we're on the hunt for 2 more adventurers coming up from the rear. Look who comes sneaking up behind us while we wasn't looking. They made it. In my Indian sign language back there, pointed them right to where we are.
Finally, some youngsters to get us pointed in the right direction, because we've been lost most of the day. Here he goes. The river has a way of making us all big kids again. We've got to have some more. We've got to have a flood to get him washed on that. I hope he don't tear a hole in his britches. If he does, he's gonna have to go last on the trail. He is the last. Now on the other end of the pool, Blaine's going to go snorkeling. Conasauga means sparkling waters in the Cherokee language. My golly, that was sparkling there. Well, we got about a mile of hugging the river and jumping logs, limbs, trees, but taking our time and being careful. Made a plan. We crossed the creek, up the log, back on the trail. Finally, I see a blaze. We need more of those. It ain't just rivers we're crossing. Four tired guys have finally reached where they're going to camp tonight. So you're right, there's plenty of places to be, and this is the place to bleed all the wood they left us.
Hey, look at, we got railroad artifacts. We can add to the collection.
That's right. Nice little place to soak. Good spot. All right, we came 5 miles today, thereabouts. We trudged over and through and around and across and got lost and backed and forth and toed and froed ourselves right down here to a great spot to camp. We're all set up. We're relaxing and taking it easy. We're gonna have a fire tonight right there. We have cooled down and relaxed in the Conasauga River. We fished. We've made our own little water cooler. And now it's time for some supper and good company. we've broke down camp. Had a good night. Just about ready to hit the trail and head on up to Conasauga River Trail parking lot up at Murray's Lake. Got about 2.5 miles to go. And hopefully our ride's our way. We'll see. By the way, Blaine and Rob didn't tell us it was red, white, and blue day. Twins Day. We missed it. All right, day 3. We got about 2.5 miles to go, and 2 crossings on the Conasauga River Trail. Been all kinds of trail on this trail. Nice wide road beds to walk, little bitty pleasant trails to walk, grown up stuff to trudge through, trees to go over, rivers to ford. We've been lost. We've been found. We've been on the trail and off the trail and around the trail. And it hasn't been very easy, especially the northern section. But it's almost over. We will have done it. All right. Man, I'd like to see the railroad bridge that spanned right here across this. Went right across to there. I'll go ahead and tell you now, ahead of time. I love the river, but I hate this trail. You gotta really be wanting to do some rugged hiking if you want to hike through this. And the thing says 13.1 miles. I've walked 17 already, and we still haven't got to the 1.5 mile uphill trudge. So anyway, it's for an adventurer, all right. So if you're hiking the Conasauga River Trail, best wishes. Red and a green marker. Maybe this is the last one. Maybe. All right, I think we've made it. That's our last crossing. And it's 1.4 miles uphill to the truck. And guess what I forgot to put in the truck? Typical have a beer at the end. So, all right, 1.4 miles trudging uphill. And that'll be that. We've left the river. Now we're on a steady uphill climb for 1.4 miles to hopefully a truck waiting on us at the trailhead up by Murray's Lake. Best sign yet is the truck is up there. Well, we're making our last steps up the Conasauga River Trail. We're on the north terminus. We've gone over 15 miles. It says 13.1. We've gone more than that. Of course, we've wobbled and weaved and got off track some. But we made it. Tough trail. And some tough guys doing it. It's all over. Conasauga River Trail is in the books. One more down. Murray Outdoor Adventures.